It's mine. No, it's mine. No, it's mine. No, it's mine. Hey, guys, what seems to be the problem? He took my toy. No, he took my toy. Well, there's always two sides of every story. And I think that I have a story that will shed some light on what that concept means. Would you guys like to hear the story? Then maybe we can talk about our problems. Yeah, but I set this toy down as I was going to the bathroom, and when I came back, he took it. And what's your side? Well, I was playing, and then I noticed that the toy that I had was sitting all alone. So I started playing with it. That's exactly the reason why I think that you guys should hear my story. There's two sides of every story. Did you ever hear the story of the three little pigs? Well, today I have a story about the three little pigs, but this one is the wolf actually showing his side. I think I like that. What about you? Yes. So today I'm going to be reading a story entitled The True Story of the... What number is this? Did you say 3? Good job. 3 Little Pigs. As told to Jon Scieszka, illustrated by Lane Smith. The true story of 3 Little Pigs. Everybody knows the story of the 3 Little Pigs, or at least they think they do. But I'll let you in on a little secret. Nobody knows the real story because nobody has ever heard my side of the story. I'm the wolf, Alexander T. Wolf. You can call me Al. I don't know how this whole big bad wolf thing got started, but it's all wrong. Maybe it's because of our diet. Hey, it's not my fault wolves eat cute little animals like bunnies and sheep and pigs. That's just the way that they are. If cheeseburgers were cute, folks will probably think that you were big and bad too. But like I was saying, the whole big bad wolf thing, it's all wrong. The real story is about a sneeze, chew, and a cup of sugar. This is the real story. Way back in once upon a time, I was making a birthday cake for my dear old granny. I had a terrible sneezing cold. I ran out of sugar. So I walked down the street to ask my neighbor for a cup of sugar. Now, this neighbor was a pig, and he wasn't too bright, too. He had built his whole house out of straw. Can you believe it? I mean, who in their right mind will build a house out of straw? So, of course, the minute I knocked on the door, it fell right in. I didn't want to walk into someone else's house, so I called, little pig, are you in? No answer. I was just about to go home without the cup of sugar for my dear old granny's birthday cake. And then my nose started to itch, and I felt a sneeze coming on. Well, I huffed and I snuffed. Can you guess what's going to happen next after the pig huffed and snuffed? You may have guessed right. And I sneezed, a great big sneeze. And you know what? The whole darn straw house fell down. And right in the middle of the pile of straw was the first little pig, dead as a doornail. And he had been home the whole time. It seemed like a shame to leave a perfectly good ham dinner laying in the straw, so I ate it up. Think of it as a big cheeseburger just lying there. I was feeling a little better, but I still didn't have. Can you guess what he didn't have? What did he go to the first little pig's house for? Did you say a cup of sugar? You're right. So he still needs a cup of sugar for what? What does he need a cup of sugar for? Did you guess to make his grandmother a birthday cake? You're really on the ball today. So I went to the next neighbor's house because he still didn't have his cup of sugar. The neighbor was the first little pig's brother. He was a little smarter, but not much. He had built his house of sticks. I rang the doorbell on the stick house. Nobody answered. I called. Can you guess what the wolf called? What did he say? Did you say, Mr. Pig, are you in? He yelled back, go away, wolf. You can't come in. I'm shaving the hairs on my chinny chin chin. So it looks like he was in the middle of shaving. Do you have someone in your family who shaves? I had just grabbed the doorknob when I felt another. Can you guess what was going to happen? What did he feel? Did you say a sneeze coming on? Well, he did. I huffed and I snuffed and I tried to cover my mouth. What do we do when we cover our mouths? Do we use our hand to cover our mouths? Or do we cover our mouths like this into our arms? Did you say cover your mouths using the crease of your arm? You're right. But I sneezed a great big sneeze. Can you act like you're the wolf and sneeze a great big sneeze? Ha, ha, ha. Don't forget your arm. Choo! And you're not gonna believe it, but this guy's house fell in just like his brother's. But when the dust cleared, there was a second little pig. As dead as a doorknob. Wolf's horror. Can you see the little pig? Now you know food will spoil if you just leave it out in the open. So I did one only thing that there was to do. I had dinner again. Think of it as a second helping. I was getting awfully full, but my cold was feeling a little better. And I still didn't have. What did he go to the second house for? Was it the same thing he went to the first little pig's house for? Give me a thumbs up if he was looking for a bowl of cereal. Was he looking for a cup of milk? Or was he looking for a cup of sugar? Yes, he was definitely looking for a cup of sugar. So, he says, and I still didn't have that cup of sugar for, who did he need this sugar for? Did you say, my dear old granny's birthday cake? You really have your thinking cap on today. So, what do you think he did? Was there a third little pig? Do you think he went to the third little pig's house? Stupendous. It says, so I went to the next house. This guy was the first and the second little pig's brother. He must have had the brains of the family. He had built his house out of bricks. I knocked on the brick house. No answer. I called. Say it with me. What did he call into the house? Mr. Pig, Mr. Pig, are you in? And do you know what that rude little porker answered? Get out of here. Wolf, don't bother me again. Talk about impolite. He probably had a whole stack of sugar in there. And he wouldn't give me one little cup for my dear, sweet old granny's birthday cake. What a pig! I was just about to go home and make a nice birthday card instead of a cake when I felt my cold coming on. I huffed and I snuffed. Get your arm ready. Help me to do a great big sneeze. And I sneezed once again. Achoo! Then the third little pig yelled, and your old granny can sit on a pin. Now, I'm usually a pretty calm fellow, but when pigs talk about my granny like that, I go crazy. When the cops drove up, of course, I was trying to break down the pig's door. And the whole time I was huffing and puffing and sneezing and making the scene. That's an interesting highlight. The rest, as they say, is history. The news reporters found out about the two pigs that I had for dinner. They figured a sick guy going to borrow a cup of sugar didn't sound very interesting. So they jazzed the story up with all this huff and puff and blow your house down. And they made me the big bad wolf. That's it. That's the real story. I was framed. But maybe you could loan me a cup of sugar. The end. And guys, I wanted to make sure I brought that point back around. So you see, sometimes when you tell a story, there's two different sides of the story and people have a different perspective. So when you have a conflict, it's good to hear the other person's side of the story to make sure that you can negotiate and problem solve and come up with one solution that's fair to both. The end. And when the story's over, when it reached the end, we live happily ever after in the land of make pretend. Bum bum bubbly bum. La 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 la.